Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Indie Comics Review. This is the show where every week I review 3 indie comic books. If that's the kind of content you find interesting, be sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button. So let's get started right away with a book I've been looking forward to for a long time. It is called Until My Knuckles Bleed. It is written by Victor Santos. It is drawn by Victor Santos. He's a one-man crew here, and it is on the Behemoth label. From the creator of the bestseller comic Polar, now a Netflix hit movie starring Mads Mikkelsen, comes a new creator-owned series, a tale of crime and capes in the line of The Boys, Watchmen, and Sin City. The 90s were the most extreme age of the superheroes. But times change. Gavin Hart, aka Damager, now works as a bouncer in a strip club managed by the Russian mob, hangs out sporadically with his ex, Avenger Lady, and wrestles with the long-term effects of his cyber implants. But fate always keeps one last cheap shot up its sleeve for a hero. Victor Santos is an established creator that worked at most of the major comics publishers, including Image Comics, where he did Violent Love, Mice Templar, DC, where he did Filthy Rich, IDW, Godzilla, King of Monsters, Boom Studios, Black Market, and Dark Horse with his bestseller series Polar, which got adapted into a movie by Netflix. First of all, I just have to say that Until My Knuckles Bleed is probably my new favorite name for a comic book series, which replaces Monkey Meat. That aside, this is just one of the coolest books I've read in a really long time. I think those comparisons to Watchmen and The Boys and Sin City is more accurate when it comes to Sin City. It's the look is a very much that black and white kind of contrast, and the shadows and all that stuff. But it doesn't just have the darkness, which it does have, with referencing him Damager's career as a superhero back in the 90s. But also it has a comedic edge. And you get a feeling that you really care for these characters. You see Damager suffering every day. It's like almost like you compare them to like an NFL football player. Those guys go from the peak of physical condition into old age, where they're just deteriorating quickly. And it's a very similar thing here, because in the comic book world, you're pretty much immortal. They never get old. But this is in a world where the superheroes get old and they're forgotten, and they move on or they don't move on, and they just become like these, in some cases, kind of unfortunate characters. You really care about people thanks to the Victor writing them so well, like his ex, Avenger Lady. Avenger Lady is going through depression, and she's having all kinds of problems dealing with her life. Damager is having a hard time dealing with his physical issues. He's got these implants that are still giving him issues. He no longer has his ripped body that he used to once have. He's trying to get a raise from his boss, who is working for the Russian mafia, and he's just such a nice guy. He's like a big brother to the girls that work at the strip club, and you see them treated as people, as not just these stereotypes of the stripper, the stripper with a heart of gold, or whatever kind of a stereotype you want to use on them. This is by far my best read of the week. This guy has proven to be really, really talented, and I can see how it could be delayed all this time, being a one-man band and all that. But this was absolutely worth the wait. If this is going to be an ongoing series, I'm all in for it. If it's ever going to be any kind of a film project, I would be all over that. I would absolutely watch that, and I would read this comic book as long as he wants to crank it out. Until My Knuckles Bleed, 2 thumbs way up for me. This is a big win for Behemoth. Probably the best thing that Behemoth has done, in my opinion. And they've done some good stuff. They've had I Promised You Darkness, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, uh, nice, funny, well done stuff like Pop Star Assassin. But this to me, I want to look up more stuff by Victor Santos. This is a nice list right there. I'm going to just start looking up stuff by him. And I think I may have found a new favorite cartoonist in Victor Santos. So needless to say, this is a winner for me. Can't say enough good stuff about Until My Knuckles Bleed from Behemoth Comics, written, drawn, and colored by Victor Santos. Pick this book up. The next book is The Land of the Living Gods, and it is written by Isaac Magagne and illustrated by Santos, and it is on the Aftershock label. It is said that when the world dies, the spirits of the first people will return to witness the last days of humanity. Well, the spirits have arrived, and the end is here. But not everyone has given up hope. Naledi, a teenage girl living in the deserted city once called Johannesburg, has always believed that there is a land hidden away in a time where the gods still live. And where there are gods, there are miracles. Perhaps even miracles that are big enough to save our dying planet. And so after a lifetime of isolation, Naledi will head out into the unknown with little to hold on to but her faith and her magical pet plant, Boyu. A fairy tale for the times is which we find ourselves, brought to life by South African writer and producer Isaac Magagne. Done things like Catching Feelings and Matadwe, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Brazilian artist Santos, who's done Night Shift. Land of the Living Gods will introduce you to a world of wonder and cruelty, beauty and perseverance, and will leave you profoundly changed. Well, after reading this book, I have to say that this is not hyperbole to say that it will leave you profoundly changed. I didn't know what to expect. I don't think I pre-ordered this book, but I just picked it up on a whim, and I was pleasantly surprised. Magagne's writing is just fantastic. He even translates a lot of the South African language, a lot of words that he uses so people can understand the story a lot better. The little girl is she's actually she's African, but she's an albino, and there's in this society, in this world where it is right now, albino bodies are worth a lot more to people who reap bodies and stuff like that. So that's another thing she has to worry about. She has this magic plant that can replicate many fruits and many herbs, and it can just has to sample something like an herb, and it can reproduce it, and it can make medicines. Like for her mother, he's taking care of her mother. Her mother is dying. Her mother's having hallucinations at night. So some are just maybe prophetic, even telling her about things that may happen to her. She goes through the streets every day trying to scavenge in this desolate wasteland that the world has become. This once thriving city is now just god awful. She makes a trade with this reader who connects with some spirits from beyond, who just give her this frightening message that she's completely unaware of. And at the end, there's this huge shift and this huge thing that happens to her that doesn't bode well, but it makes you just anxious to see what's going to happen in the next series, in the next story, I should say, the next issue. Land of the Living Gods, number one. This is another great hit for Aftershock. This company keeps coming up with great one-shots, great ongoing series. This is one of the stars in the indie comics arena. I was not aware of this creative team or these individuals before this story, and I'm going to look up some of these projects that they've been working on before, because this is really such a well done story. It's something I think that you will be pleasantly surprised by if you pick up this issue. It's only been out for a couple of weeks. You can probably find it in some places. I'd imagine it was probably low print run, and it wasn't ordered as much, but you should still be able to find it. This is something that I think is beautiful to look at, interesting to read, and it is a touching story about this woman and the love between her, this little girl, between the love and her mother, and her trying to connect with the gods of her ancestors, and just the hopeless world that she finds herself in. It's kind of bleak, but it's kind of beautiful at the same time. So if you get a chance, definitely pick up Land of the Living Gods #1. The next book is Manor Black, Fire in the Blood #1. It is written by Cullen Bunn and Brian Hurt, and it is illustrated by Brian Hurt, and is on the Dark Horse label. From the creators of Harrow County and The Sixth Gun comes the next chapter of this gothic horror fantasy about a family of sorcerers in crisis. The powerful and ancient blood sorcerer Roman Black has taken a young fire mage under his wing after she has done the impossible, taken her magic house's totem spirit inside herself. But the totem is powerful and may be impossible to control, especially when Roman's children begin to see the young mage as a threat. Well, Fire in the Blood is the second in the series of Manor Black series that Cullen Bunn has written. Cullen Bunn and Brian Hurt have written. The first one was back in 2019. It was also a 4-issue series. But you can actually jump on here without having to read that series. I didn't know anything about it, and I was able to read this first issue with no problem and enjoy it. It's basically about a patriarch, and his name is Roman Black. He's this sorcerer who's getting up in years, and he's looking for someone to pass his legacy on to. He has a bunch of like these spoiled, good-for-nothing children that, are just almost the stereotype of the ungrateful rich kid. And he adopted this young girl, which I guess happened in the first series, but he's found this young girl to take on the mantle of the sorcerer. And she has got a good heart, but she doesn't have the control over her totem yet, over her powers yet. In this series, they flash back a lot to Roman's earlier days, as he just came home from the war. There's a lot where he deals with the relationship between him and his father. So there's a lot to be taken in there. Maybe there's some kind of relationship. It seems to be implied, or a connection between him and their housekeeper. There's some strange, awkward glances and intimations as far as that goes. So can't wait to see what that's about. His children they pretty much catch us up on the story by talking about how they're jealous of this undeserving interloper who father has brought in to take their rightful birthright and everything. And the girl is just, she's still struggling with her power. She's burning down half the woods, and you can tell this is going to be kind of an issue. I like Manor Black enough to whereas I would read more of this series, and I would possibly pick up the issues 1 through 4 of the first 2019 series. I actually looked up a few of them on my comic shop, and some of them are available for less than cover price. So it'd be nothing to just pick this series up and totally catch up and just know the whole story. You really get a good sense of pacing, and you get a good feel for the characters in this story. You don't need to catch up, or should I say, you don't need to just research and read the first series, but just reading this one issue here of Fire in the Blood got me interested enough to just go seek those books out. So that's probably a good sign. The flashback scenes of Roman's younger years are done in black and white, and in kind of an old-time film kind of a way. That's a very cool look. So you can differentiate. I think a lot of one of the crutches that a lot of writers fall back on is this, then, now, flashback, flash forward. It can just get abusive, and it can become annoying if you do it too much. If you flash back, flash forward, and you're just doing it over and over is just kind of exhausting. But with this case, in this case, the way that they do it with the change of tone, and you can see clearly what's going on in the past, and it's just a smooth transition. And in fact, the first issue passes so quickly, you kind of want more. So I recommend this book. Will I sub to it? Maybe. I'm not sure. I'll probably get another issue of it. Probably be coming out in another couple of weeks. But I'll make the decision. It'll be a game time decision when I do pick it up. But it was very well done. I mean, it's Cullen Bunn has had some good books lately, and I think he's on a roll now. And this could be a winner for him. So yeah, I'm going to give it a favorable review, and I think it's definitely worth checking out. Manor Black, Fire in the Blood. Okay, I've been talking a lot about doing an Artist Alley. I was going to try to do a show with nothing but Artist Alley, but that didn't materialize. But damn it, I'm going to work it in an Artist Alley review tonight for sure. And the first one I'm going to do is one that's been around. I've had this PDF for a while, and I finally had a chance to look at it. And it's called Space Oddities. There's 2 issues, issue number 1 and 2. And it's I was contacted by one of the creators. His name is Ben Robinson, and the story is written by both Ben Robinson and John Williams. And John Williams is the artist on the book there. And they have a quick starter. They have a Kickstarter up. I think it's still current as well. So I'll leave a link down below as to how to check out their Kickstarter. I just want to say Kickstarter. How to check out their Kickstarter and how to find their comic down below in the bottom of this video. Space Oddities is a space adventure comedy series aspiring to be the love child of Indiana Jones and the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's an adventure comedy story about the crew of the Aftasa. The crew of the Aftasa. This guy named Dirk and a guy named Jorge McSanchez. They are in the business of locating and procuring lost or misappropriated antiquities. A lucrative, if not stable, business until a young woman named Jet Paxton suddenly becomes an unsolicited crew member. Jet's quest to find her mother will point them toward a fabled artifact of immense power and all the danger that comes with it. Space Oddities is just what it purports to be, and that is just this fun little space romp that to me is just an all ages comic. I think it's been funded. If not, it's still in the funding phase. But the story is basically these 2 characters. Dirk, who's like this sunglasses wearing slick guy who thinks he knows everything, and his lovable but kind of maybe not that bright sidekick Jorge, who's wearing like a kilt and flip-flops and has some kind of an antenna on his head or something like that. They make a pretty cool team. And when they meet this girl Jet, whose father is this bigwig in space, who's come up with all these inventions and stuff, this is when the adventure starts. When we first meet them, Dirk is trying to like steal this leather jacket literally off a guy's body at a funeral, because leather is this rare commodity in the future, because I guess cows no longer exist, and it just looked at like, why would they wear skin, and it seems like a barbaric thing to these people in the future. And there's like so many little jokes that I think would go well with kids, but not really be too immature for an adult as well. So that's the whole all ages thing. I really hope these people get their project funded. It seems like they're a bunch of cool people, and I really enjoyed. I thank them for sending me this sample of their work. It really is something I think that a lot of people might enjoy, especially if you like to fund artists who are trying to make a name for themselves, trying to get a foothold in this very difficult industry of comics. Space Oddities is something that you might want to check out and maybe throw a couple of bucks their way for some funding. So yeah, it's fun for all ages, I think. It looks great for what it is. And what it is, like I said, is this fun little adventure comedy that you don't want to take too seriously, but it's something you could let your kids read, or something that you might want to read yourself. That's just not too heavy. It's not something that's not about saving the world, or there's no political agendas or anything. It's just a good, fun little book, which is, I think, that's what comics should be. It should be some books that are just fun to read, and that's all there is, you know. And this is a book that I think people would enjoy. So Space Oddities number 1 and 2, written by Ben Robinson and John Williams, art by John Williams. I believe the link down below for their Kickstarter and the contact information as to where to pick up this book. So Space Oddities, long story short, fun for everyone. Good old-fashioned family fun in an indie comic book. Pick it up, check it out, fund these guys, give them a shot. So that's all I got this time, folks. Be sure to stop by next week. I'll be doing another 3 indie comic books and probably another Artist Alley as well. So until then, be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn notifications on so you know when I'm making another video. So until next time, see you guys in the funny papers. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and leave a thumbs up.